Hello and welcome to Americans Talk Australian Survivor. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
Just the two of us today, and hopefully Matt will be back on Sunday. We just watched episode 15 of Australian Survivor Titans vs. Rebels, and there will be spoilers ahead. We jump on to the Tassi tribe on day 30.
Caroline is speaking, and she's saying, Ferris saved me last night. She says she's done with Mark. Caroline says, I'm gunning for Mark because he put her name down twice.
Again, and it just keeps happening that Mark is gunning for Caroline, and she tries to trust him, and it never works. So she and Ferris are talking when they get back from camp. They're all feeling pretty solid about this new alliance that just formed. And Caroline then wakes up the next morning and gets into a fight with Mark. She says, I've never written your name down, Mark, and you just keep coming after me. And Mark is like, well, there's other people in this discussion. It's not just me. And Caroline's not buying it. She says, you've been targeting me for a while. Valeria said really nasty things last night, and she's just not buying it.
And she's very hurt by what Val said. It just really hurt her to the core. She never had, she said this is very personal.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It was a difficult comment to hear last night. Val said that she doesn't think that Caroline deserves to be in the game, and that would be upsetting to hear.
Yeah, it would be very upsetting because it seems very personal. And also we saw Eden says it's time for him to take charge, right?
Yeah. So Eden comes up with the idea to get the OG Titans back together to go back to Titans versus Rebels. And when we're watching this, we're like, I don't know. We just saw Caroline and Mark fighting. It doesn't really seem like a good idea.
Yeah, it was hard last night. Hard, they're not getting along. But Eden says he wants to teach Jaden how to play the game. He said Jaden's been on like a holiday, not really taking this seriously.
Yeah, so it's his endeavor this episode to teach Jaden about Survivor. So he's sitting down with Jaden. He's like, who do you want to work with moving forward? And Jaden's like, I don't really know. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, we could go this way. And he's like, oh, sure. Yeah. Okay, good idea. So Eden explains the original Titans may secretly vote out Raymond and have like a little surprise original Titans. And Jaden's just like, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Why not? And then they tell Mark about this plan. Mark's like, he looks worried about it. He doesn't look like he's totally on board, but we'll see what he does later in the episode.
Right. He doesn't know if he can trust Caroline and Kitty, right?
Yeah, because he's really been after them a lot.
So then we go to the reward challenge, and it's a big challenge.
Yeah. So this is an exciting challenge. So we break up into 2 teams of 6. And the players have to bring water from the ocean and throw it into a bucket to try to lower the buckets. Whichever team wins that round first will then advance to the second round, where they're split up into 2 teams of 3, and they have to throw balls and kind of get it into, what do they call it, like a monkey thing. And then you pull the rope and you stand up your idol. And then whichever team of those 3 get all of their things standing up,
they advance
to an individual puzzle where one person will win a new car.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, so it seems like we see this often on Australian Survivor, and it's always really exciting because this is,
a reward.
Yeah, like it changes outside the game. It's a pretty exciting thing. So we were excited to see who was going to win. And we see with the water throwing technique that Alex really gets the hang of it quickly. He knows how to throw the water into the bucket. So he tells his team, you guys just bring me the water, I'll throw it.
Yeah, they worked very well together, I thought.
Yeah, we were kind of looking at the tribes and we were like, I don't know about this team. It was Alex, Val, Caroline, Kitty, and Eden. And we're like, are they necessarily the strongest compared to the other team? Maybe not, but they had the best strategy.
And they pulled it off. Right.
Then we go to the next section of the game, and we see Kitty, Mark, and Val versus Eden, Alex, and Caroline. And it comes down to Val versus Caroline. Everyone has all of their things pulled up, and Caroline and Val both need one more to go.
But I have to say, Alex and Eden, it appeared that they did it very quickly. But it was very suspenseful. Yes, you got Caroline and Val. Who's going to be able to get the last trophy up?
Yeah, and so we were kind of thinking at home watching, I wish that for the car, something that happens outside of the game, we weren't playing in teams, because it just felt disappointing to see some of the players trying their best and still not advancing to the next part of the reward.
And that's what happened. Unfortunately, Caroline did not pull it off. Val did. And I felt badly for Eden and Alex because they were able to do it so quickly and they could have won. You know, I just felt badly for them. That's why I wish it was an individual game instead of the teams.
Yeah, it kind of came down to the luck of the draw with the teams. And for such a big reward, it was too bad.
Huge reward, right.
But then we move on to the puzzle, and we see Kitty really struggling with the puzzle. Mark and Val are both kind of in it for a little bit. And Mark just pulls ahead really quickly. He's a beast with the puzzle. He's telling himself, you know, the D-Max Isuzu as he's doing the puzzle. He's really focused on winning the car, and he pulled it off.
Yes, congratulations to Mark. And he was very emotional when he won.
Yeah, he said that he's, not been able to get a new car recently. He's really been needing one. So that's very exciting to see someone who needs a new car win such a huge prize.
Now, I was thinking Kitty did that on purpose. She has the money. A new car to her would make no difference in her life.
She might have done that. And especially last episode, she was kind of saying she had said something she regretted. And that was probably telling everyone that she's worth almost a figure. It would be a bad look to win a car after that. So, yeah, but either way, congratulations, Mark. That's awesome. And along with the car, he gets to go to a barbecue.
Oh, yes. This is a tough decision.
Yeah. So Jonathan tells him he can take someone along, and he chooses Kitty, which I was a little bit surprised about at first. I guess Kitty was right alongside him with the puzzle, so maybe he was thinking, kind of extend that olive branch after he voted for Caroline, her number one.
I think it was because Eden said, let's try to get the Titans together. I think Mark's pulling off Eden's plan.
Yeah, and it definitely becomes apparent later when then Jonathan says, okay, one more person, and he takes Val. So right now he has the whole group that was doing the puzzles together, and we think that's it. But there's one more spot at the barbecue. So we're thinking he's going to take Eden, so Eden can really sell his pitch. He's going to take Jaden because they're trying to get Jaden to play a little bit more, but he ends up taking Caroline. And the crowd is shocked. Raymond's like, imagine Val and Caroline together at a barbecue.
Well, even Mark was crying when he said Caroline.
I think he was emotional about the car.
Yeah, maybe. But the whole thing, I thought he should have, at first I thought you should take Eden because this is Eden's plan. He should get the reward. But then I thought by picking Caroline, wow, he's playing his diplomat game, right? He's getting all these people together and trying to bring them together to get the Titans strong.
Yeah, it's a very nice gesture to bring someone along who you've been actively voting out for quite a while. So, very interesting selection, but I think overall a good idea. Once I thought about it more, it does make sense that he's trying to get the Titans strong, and this is him showing that he's really in it for the new alliance.
Yes, and when we see the barbecue at first, it's very tense, as Mark has stated. Caroline and Val don't seem to want to talk to each other. But then Mark, as a diplomat, gets them to speak.
Yeah, so Caroline shares that she was really hurt by the comments last night. She was saying that she's done a lot in her life to get to this point, and it was just very hurtful to say that she's the weakest player and doesn't deserve to be there.
And Val says that don't take it personal. I like you as a person. This is just about the game. And then it takes a while, but she finally says she's sorry.
Yeah, so an okay apology, I'd say. I don't know if it was the most sincere apology, but it certainly wasn't the worst apology we've ever heard.
It worked, right?
Yeah, and Val even says that it's only because she's emotional in the game that she labeled her as weak. But I thought that was kind of weird because Val's been playing an extremely emotional game targeting getting revenge on Viola, revenge for Viola. So even Caroline mentioned, like, we're all playing an emotional game. Like, that's part of Survivor.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm glad that Val apologized, and it looks like they're willing to work together and kind of mend that fence moving forward. Back at camp, everyone's kind of gossiping about, what do you think they're saying over there? It's probably tense.
And Eden was worried. Eden was disappointed. He thought he should have been chosen for the challenge.
And we thought so too. So I can see where he's going with that. Of course, he wanted the feast. He wanted to pitch his idea. And everyone's just kind of saying, I bet they're fighting. I wonder what they're saying.
And they're eating their rice and beans.
Yeah. So then we move on to the immunity challenge. Or actually, before the immunity challenge, the night before, we see Jaden wake up in the middle of the night, and he says that he is keen for the W. He is lifting weights. He's running on the beach. He's throwing punches while everyone else is sleeping. And then Eden's like watching, smiling.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
I don't know what was Eden. I guess Eden was up and saw him. I don't know. But yeah, Jaden's way of getting his frustration was to work out and to get himself focused, saying, I'm going to win this immunity challenge, right? He is getting focused.
Yeah, he said he's been enjoying his holiday, but it's time to get to work. After Winna got voted out last night, it seemed to be a major wake-up call for Jaden. So I don't know why he was working out at night, but it worked out because we head over to the immunity challenge. And Jaden said that it would be great to win the immunity necklace after he saw Winna go home last night. It would be nice to kind of chill out at Tribal, which I don't know what he's been doing at every Tribal previously, but he is ready for that win.
And Jonathan says, oh, now you like the necklace or something like that. And he didn't say he did like the necklace, you know.
He likes what it represents.
Yeah, right.
So the challenge is something that we've seen in the past. The players hold a pole with a level at the top where they place an idol. And at intervals, they have to add poles to the bottom and extend the pole upwards and balance the idol on top.
Very difficult.
Yes, and it's like a cloudy day, but they're saying that the sun is still getting in their eyes. It's like reflecting off of things. So everyone looks miserable, and it looks like a tough challenge.
And fun relief is Raymond. Raymond says that he's going to annoy all the contestants, and that's how he'll win.
Yeah, and he's been talking it up. He's starting to annoy people, but he did not win, unfortunately. He got out towards the middle of the group.
But the first to get out was Caroline, right? And then Kitty.
And so it was too bad that Caroline was the first out, especially after that comment last night from Val about being the weakest. I was hoping it would be a good, she'd kind of like show her if she did really well in this challenge. But she gave it a good effort. It was a tough challenge. Everyone's getting sweat in their eyes. Ferris keeps trying to let go of his pole with one hand to wipe his eyes, and then he keeps wobbling, and he's making funny faces. He's really putting a lot of effort into this challenge.
And then you see Ree and Jaden, and they are just still as anything. Unbelievable how they're just statues. They're not moving at all.
Then Kirby starts to wobble a little bit. She's also getting sweat in her eyes. She is like walking all over her little section. She's like, is anyone else moving? Am I the only one?
Yeah. And it's bending over. Her pole is bending over. Like, I can't believe this isn't dropping. But other people drop out, and then it's left to Kirby and Jaden. So two opposite ways of playing. Jaden has his pole lower, and he's still like a statue, where Kirby held her pole up higher.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I think that she was just moving around so much, she just probably like put it higher on accident. I don't think it was intentional. I think having it lower is definitely going to help with the center of gravity and all that. So I think it was probably just in the moment you're moving around so much, you raise it up. But she held her own for quite a while, and then eventually Kirby drops, and Jaden wins his first individual immunity.
And he is very happy.
Yes, so congratulations, Jaden. He was looking for the win, and he got it. So that's awesome. And right before we go to commercial, Eden says, has he just created a monster in Jaden? So he's getting worried that maybe Jaden is getting a little bit too strong now that he's kind of put that bug in him to start winning. So then back at camp, we see a fake plan form with Eden. He says that he wants Raymond to go home, but he gathers Ferris, Ray, Alex, and Aileen and says, let's put votes on Rihanna and Val. That way, Ree will kind of flush her idol. She'll get worried. She'll play the idol. It'll be gone. And Val will go home. That's Eden's fake plan. But really, he wants to vote out Raymond. So I think this is a pretty decent fake plan. A lot of times you'll just kind of like throw out one name, but he has like a fully fleshed out plan that is the fake one. So I think it's a good idea. Mark is looking excited to get out Ray to work with the OG Titans. And then Eden approaches Caroline with the plan, and she says, absolutely not. I am not, and I will not work with Mark.
Yeah, right away. Oh, she didn't want to vote out Raymond because she said she just made a deal with Ferris. And if she breaks Ferris's trust now, it's going to be war. She knows it. She says it straight out. I think Eden was kind of surprised by it.
Yeah, I think Eden thought that the lunch like healed everything and they were good to go. And Caroline says, no, it was a nice lunch, but we're still not working together. And so then Eden pulls in Kitty and Caroline, and he's like, listen, if we vote out one rebel tonight, we get the majority. So right now there's 6 original Titans, 6 original rebels. So if they can work together on this one, they have the majority. And Eden's saying, we're going to get farther in the game if we do this together. And they're like, you know what? You're actually making some good points.
Right. They agree. They're like, Kitty, I think, was the first one to admit, said, oh, this really is a good plan.
Yeah, so it's good that they're being open to other ideas and they're listening. So many times you see someone say, you know, oh, I absolutely will not do that plan and I won't listen to your reasoning. So Eden's being very professional and thoughtful with his plans and his selling of the plan. So he's making sense. So we're kind of questioning, will Caroline and Kitty work with them? They keep saying, like, I just have a gut feeling it's not the right time. They want to stay with Ferris. And we'll see what happens.
And meanwhile, Rhee and Kirby are talking, and they're like, neither of them have a name. They don't know what's going on. And so Rhee says, well, if we don't know what's going on, it could be us.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're getting a sense of the game, and that's exactly what Eden wants them to think. He wants Brianna to play her idol tonight.
And then the two of them speak together, and Eden tells her, oh, the majority votes are going to be on you.
Yeah, so he's not sugarcoating it at all. He says, you know, the votes are going to be on you, but there might be another name. So then Rihanna and Kirby are like, oh, shoot, if Rihanna plays the idol, does Kirby go home? But Kirby says, you have the idol, you have to save yourself.
She does. And then Ferris is thinking, I have to talk to everyone. He notices that Eden's walking around talking to Caroline and Kitty, and he wants to get control and find out what's going on. So he asks Caroline straight up what's going on. And she said, oh, I'm working with you, right?
Yeah, and so then Ferris has a good idea. He said he's going to throw out some names and kind of see if he gets a reaction. So he says, well, you know, I've heard Raymond and Aileen be thrown around. And they're like, oh, I don't know, never heard of that. You know, where did you get that from? So Ferris has a really great sense of the game. I feel like we see this often with his gameplay, that he just can pick up on the vibe of the camp and what people are doing, and he knows that something's up.
Yeah, he does. He always seems to figure this out.
Yeah, so he really has a great sense of the game. He says, you know, if I hear Raymond or Aileen written down tonight, like, it is war. It is no coming back. He's going, you know, fully against the alliance that he just made last night.
Right, and he says his eyes are on everyone.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, I don't know how he does it, but he does it. So now we're going to tribal, and it's so exciting because you're like, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You know, Raymond, I don't want Raymond to go home. He's such a great player and funny.
Yeah. And so we're thinking, why is Ferris waiting? He's basically saying he's going to look out tonight and see if he sees Ray or Aileen written down. And if they're written down, then he'll go after them. And we're thinking, no, just do something now. You know, like, don't wait to see your alliance be voted out. Do something now. So we're wishing that he had worked with Kirby and brought the OG rebels together, but we're kind of thinking, I don't know, maybe an idol will come out and save someone. Maybe something will change. And it does.
Yes, but it did appear that there was absolutely no conversation between him and Kirby, right?
Yeah, I don't think
so. I thought the rebels were going to talk together. He would get all the old rebels together, but yeah, like you said, it looked like nothing going in. He was just going to keep his eyes open.
Yeah. So then we get to tribal. And right away, everyone's talking about how their OG Titan's strong. I think Val even says, like, it's good to be back with the original Titans.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very strange how they were so clear about their working together.
Yeah, they talk about the lunch that they had together and how they're kind of mending the fence. And Kirby whispers around. She says, I think there's a shift. I think something is happening. So we see some whispers on the Rebels side, and then Eden gets word on the Titans tribe, and he says, should we do a split vote? Like, what's going on? And Ferris has a really good idea. He whispers to everyone, vote for Eden.
Yes. How did he even know? I guess he knew it was Eden because he saw Eden walking around talking to everyone at camp, right?
I guess, but it's lucky that he knew to vote for Eden. Like, he seems to have such a good pulse on the game that he knew it was Eden who was in control of this vote.
But not only did he have a pulse on who to vote for, he was able to tell everybody in the old Rebels tribe. I mean, that's like playing telephone. It doesn't always going to work. It's not always going to work, right?
And someone might say, no, I'm not going to do it. And he is able to just get the point across to everyone. Eden, Eden, Eden. So then it's time to vote, and we're thinking, oh no, is Eden planning to split the vote? Did Ferris get the information out correctly? Is everyone on board? We have no idea what's going on. So we go up to vote, we come back, and Rihanna plays her idol for herself.
Yeah, so they did flush the idol. So
yeah.
One thing was accomplished by the Titans at that point.
And I think it was probably a good idea for her to play the idol because she was worried that her name was up. And I think we all can agree that you would hate to go home with an idol in your pocket. That must be a really horrible feeling. So she doesn't want to do that. So I can see why she played her idol, even though her name did not get written down tonight. She was told that she was the majority. So it would be, tough to not play her idol at that point. So Rihanna's safe, Jaden's safe. And we get a tie between Raymond and Eden.
And Ferris says, I read you like a book, he kept saying. He said to the group. He said that twice right now.
Yeah, Ferris is not happy with the original Titans, which, I mean, we know that he was going to be upset, but he is, like, really mad.
His eyes are something else, the way he's looking and everything. And
yeah, I mean, they only worked together for one vote, so it's not, like, that close of an alliance, but he really does not like to be turned on. Yeah. We saw this with Kirby, and now it's happening again with Caroline and Kitty. He gets very upset. So it's a tie, and we're thinking, okay, someone has to jump up and say, listen, I'm willing to go to Rocks for Eden or Raymond, and no one does. We didn't even see any whispering. They just go straight to the revote.
Yeah, I wonder if we missed something. Did they cut it out? But I was quite surprised that there was no whispering.
Yeah, it seems like the perfect time to do it, because if they don't flip on this revote, they go right to Rocks and everyone else becomes a target. So I don't know. I felt like I was hoping to see a little bit more chaos there. Although you could tell that Eden, even though his name was up, he seemed excited to be a part of a tie. So I think he's really just enjoying the Survivor experience. And while he's nervous, it was good to see that he's not so nervous that he's like really upset. He was still having a good time.
All right, so then they go to the revote, and it comes out very slowly.
Yeah, it turns out Eden has the majority of votes. So we're thinking, what just happened? Who flipped? We're thinking, is it Caroline and Katie? Did they...
I thought Caroline and Kitty. That's who I thought.
Yeah, so we have no idea. So Eden stands up, everyone claps for him, so it was a very nice exit.
But I was so sad for Eden. He came up with this great plan. He pulled it off by getting all the Titans together, and then he gets voted out. I don't know. I know he really, really is a huge Survivor fan, and it just seems sad that he got voted out to me.
Yeah, especially he's being a mentor to Jaden, so it's just too bad to see him go when he really wanted to be there.
And that's ironic. He's to Jaden, and he said, I maybe created a monster, and he did, because Jaden was a person who flipped.
Yeah, and so Jaden, when he reads out his vote, he writes down Eden and he says, this is for winner.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
So Eden actually hurt himself by making Jaden think about the game more.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what would have happened if Eden and Jaden hadn't had that talk, but I have to think that Jaden wouldn't have been thinking it's time to start playing if Eden hadn't pulled him.
Right.
So it was disappointing to see Eden go. He was such a fan of the show, and he made things exciting. He just wanted to, stir up the game. He was trying to move things around, and he was successful in bringing back the OG Titans, but he did not make it past this vote. So I'm very curious to see if the Titans will remain strong without their leader, pulling them together, and what's going to happen next.
And once again, nothing was mentioned about the jury, so it must be
Yeah, I don't
down
think
the road.
he
That's
is
too
part of the
bad.
jury.
Yeah, that's
He
too
would have
bad.
been a really good jury player. I bet
Yeah.
he would have really, hit him with some good questions at the final tribal.
And he would have just loved being on the jury.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm just very disappointed. I feel badly for Eden because, like we said, he was such a fan. Well, anyway, it's too bad that Eden had to leave.
Yeah, and you like to see a fan of the show play the game. They know how to play, and they're just excited to be there.
Right.
So,
But once again, a fantastic show. I mean, every single week, every single episode is thrilling.
yeah, it's a nail biter. And, I mean, who would have guessed? Last week, if you told us that Jaden controlled the vote, that Eden knew him, that's insane. So congrats, Jaden, for stepping up, getting vengeance on Winna, and I'm excited to see what he does next. Let's see if, this is just the start to Jaden taking over. So another exciting episode. Thank you for joining us this week. In the interim, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at ATA Survivor, TikTok at ATA Survivor, and send us an email at ataustraliansurvivor@gmail.com or call us at 475-4podcast. We'll be back with the whole gang next week, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.